Hello friends and welcome to another replay analysis. This time we're going to look at Disruptor. This is Archon 5. Yeah, that's it. Let's get into it. So, you're leaving lane nice and early. I like that. Your items look fine. Looks like Zeus got... Cool. Your position 4 gave a tango, so you're able to just have 2. You may need to buy more. In fact, I'd kind of expect it because you're probably against a... Probably against Bloodseeker. I guess you don't really know Witch Doctor or Ogre. I know you know when watching this, but walking into the lane, we don't quite know. So, I like the Fairy Fire. I think that's pretty good against Witch Doctor if he's up here. Also, just a pretty decent item on Disruptor. I think you get in a good amount of right clicks when you use Thunderstrike. Windlace. Let's get to this last, actually. Clarity, I like because your spell is pretty effective, so spamming it out and then naturally wanting more regen, so you can keep doing that. I like that. And I think having 1 clarity is good for if you spam out the spell before the rune, you can use it while waiting for the creeps to get there. Or during the laning stage, you can spam out your spell and then go pull and use the clarity. Salve just for healing up so you can keep playing the lane. So I like all of those. The Windlace, I think, is fine this game, but I want to explain why I think it's fine to make sure, because I don't know if you're always getting a Windlace or if you're mixing it up. Because Disruptor is a hero that can go for like 3 mangoes at the start and just spam out Thunderstrike either at level 1 or level 3. You do that when you think you can really bully out the lane, either because you can get kills or because you need to bully out the lane, otherwise your really fragile carry is going to like die. And even if you decide, okay, I'm not going to spam it out level 1, you save those mangoes at level 3 when you have 2 points in Thunderstrike, and you get a lot more value because you go up in 10 mana, but you're getting an extra 100 damage. Then the mangoes are, technically worth more damage at that point. And then you can, try to win the lane at level 3 instead of like level 1. So you are a hero that can do that. Getting Windlace tells me that you don't plan on doing that, and that you think the lane will be okay without too many Thunder Strikes, and with, you're going to put a bit more emphasis on staying safe and doing a bit of pulls, because that's what the movement speed is good for. It's good to like run to the camp, pull, run back to the lane, that kind of thing. Avoid, say, an Ogre if he's in your lane, or, Bloodseeker runs at you a bit. So that is what that tells me. And I think it's okay, because Ogre could be up here, and then that would be a pain. So the Windlace is good. And then Bloodseeker, with his Thirst passive, like maybe you can bully him out level 1, and I think that might not be too bad. But then, by the time he hits level 2 or 3, Thirst is going to start kicking in, and it's going to be a little harder to make use of it. So if you want to try a Windlace start, I don't mind. I do think you'll probably need to buy more tangos or a really fast Ring of Regen, just because you want to avoid being low against this Bloodseeker hero as long as he's in the game. Even if he's not in your lane, just help out your team. Don't be low. I think that's really important. So I might expect you to need either another set of tangos and or like rushing a Tranquil boots or something like that. I do like that you're out here pretty fast. I think maybe you could even like move out aggressively even a little further, just because unless they bring like I think these 3 heroes might be enough to kill you actually, but it's a little unlikely, I feel like. So even if you run into the 2 heroes, I think you'll be okay because you have this Windlace. So Bloodseeker's 300 move speed, Ogre Magi's 290, Witch Doctor's 300. So with the Windlace, I think you're fine to like move out, and not like stand behind this tree so that they both stumble on you in melee range. But if like you're here or like past this tree so you see them coming in, then you can always run away fast enough. So it looks like we are going to see Witch Doctor. I'm glad you clicked his item so you know what you're getting into. So this spell usage, okay, see this? So every time this strikes, you reduce their movement speed and attack speed by 100%. And that's really good for your right-click trades. So this is going to be Alex and I are recording it today, actually, and it'll hopefully come out Friday. I hope I have time to edit it up. But we're going to be demonstrating good times to use your spells. And this is like decent, but you see how he is now far away and you can't get another attack off because it's under the tower. So it's like slightly suboptimal. If he was, let's so right here, when you use it, he hasn't committed to trading on you at all. So the attack slow isn't going to come into play at all. The movement speed, like, that's okay. And so you, like, chase him, get a couple auto attacks, and now we can't get another one off. So we've, like, kind of missed that element where he's still scared to right-click trade us, but actually he's so close to the tower that you can't pursue the trade. Plus, he's now going to get, like, bonus armor and regen from this tower, so it's not as good anyways. So if he was, like, instead of here, if he was, like, here or, like, here, I think this would be a lot better. The other reason it's a little unideal is that the rune is about to spawn in 10 seconds, and our cooldown is 18 seconds at level 1, so we're now at 13 seconds. So now you're not going to have this for the rune fight. And, you know, that's a bit of a bummer. If this happened, like, even if it was the same scenario, but, like, 10 seconds sooner, I think that would be fine. Because then when the rune spawns, you use it again, pursue a bit, and then you clarity up. And I would like that a lot. Overall, this is still, like, okay. I don't want to, like, go too hard into it, but, turns out Queen of Pain was here. Nice. Okay. We've just used all our regen. We're gonna need more. Let's see what you bought. So the clarity, this is gonna help with your mana. The sentry, I know you saw Witch Doctor had some stuff, but then you've already used up all your regen in terms of health. You had to use your salve and your tangos. And they had to use a decent amount as well. Bloodseeker's quite low. And Witch Doctor, you know, took some damage too. But see, he still has a ton of regen. So you really need some kind of health regen here. Maybe you can ask Void to share a tango or two with you in the meantime, and then you'll have more on the way. But it's tough. I kind of think you can't get this second clarity. I think you need another set of tangos to play this lane. Let's watch it before I go too far into it. Let's just see how it plays out. So yeah, I want you to, like, chase this guy right now. If you're scared to fight Witch Doctor, then run through here, run over here, and just hit this guy. He's so low, you can actually kill this man. Your spell does 180 damage, reduced by 25%. So let's just say 120-ish damage. Math is hard. It's a little higher than that, I believe. And then you'll right-click twice, and he's actually just dead. So, heck, you could probably even ignore Witch Doctor. You could probably just run for this kill right here. Because you're full health, and this guy took Cask. So he stuns you once. You know, just position yourself in a way that hopefully it won't bounce to a creep or something. But I don't think this guy should be getting any XP right now. I think you just, like, around the trees, chase him out. There we go. Now you guys moved up a little bit. That's nice. So we want to keep in mind who has regen. This guy has tangos and a salve. This guy only has tangos. And he was lower health. So I would prefer you focus your damage on one hero instead of splitting it up. I know technically he could use the salve on Bloodseeker, but you know what? That's fine. Make him do that. When you split the damage like this, they can both just use tangos and depend on their passive regen. Disruptor is a hero that you want to focus one guy. Your spell does so much damage, but if you split it up between two heroes, they'll just tango. But if you focus it on one guy, he's forced to salve or just play really passively while he depends on tangos. So try not to split your spell usage. I think we can start to keep pulls in mind. I think you could have done a pull right here. Right now, run straight to this small camp and do, I would say, a half pull. But you could continue to play this lane a little longer, which would be more reasonable if you still had more regen. So say this wasn't a Windlace and you bought those mangoes instead, then playing this lane right now and spamming him out while he's still level 1, so he's not getting the heal from Thirst. Your damage is really good right now. That could be feasible. But since you're kind of out of regen and you're like, a bit low on resources, I think this is a decent time to pull. Now, especially that you've got this clarity. Okay, so see, actually, we're seeing it right now. Thirst has kicked in. He's now a stronger laner because you're so low. And even if you have mana, let's say you're full mana, can you really walk into Harass? No. 50 damage, 1, maybe 2 auto attacks, you're dead. So, health is the most important resource in the laning for almost every hero, followed by mana. And that's why when I saw you use all your resources and you chose to buy another clarity, it was concerning because they're still going to damage you. And, you know, you only have... You have 2.1 because this tower is giving you 1. So now you have to play extremely carefully. And it's going to be difficult to do pulls, anything like that, because this guy can just bully you. And in fact, now you identify that you have to run home. And that means in this time... oh, he's going to die. Holy crap. Okay, I didn't actually expect him to die, but I thought he would get... I thought he would have a tough time in lane, but then he actually just straight up died. This is really bad, because look how many creeps we just lost. So, 1, 2, 3. Alright, we lost 3 creeps. That is if they pulled and denied most of the wave. So, part of this was a mistake on his part. I don't think he should have died. It looks like he got caught in blood right. But then think about what you could have done to prevent it. First of all, he was getting extra move speed and attack speed because you were... No, wait, he doesn't get attack speed, does he? They changed this They've changed this hero so much, I kind of forget. Okay, looks like he just gets move speed. But you gave him extra move speed. Does it really not give him... Oh, yeah, because it got moved to this. That's so weird. I don't know, guys. You're giving him extra move speed. And then because of that, he can chase this Faceless Void more. And because you're not here, if you were here, you can, cast some spells. And we saw how close it was. You would have actually killed Bloodseeker first. But because you had no regen, you had to run home. This situation happened, and then we missed 3 last hits. So part of that was... due to your lack of regen. And that's why when I saw your starting build, I was like, okay, this is okay. I don't know if I said it there, but what I was thinking was, you probably need to buy more tangos, another set with some of your first starting gold. And you're not going to be able to use a lot of spells, because if you're buying health regen, there's only so much money at the start of the game. If you're buying health regen and, you need a sentry because you saw this guy had wards, then, there's no more money for regen. And we have the 1 clarity, but that's not that much. So that's why I said, it was okay, it's probably a passive lane, and we're just going to be, trading right clicks and pulling. That's what the health is for, and the move speed. But if you want to, bully them out more, then you need more, types of regen. So, I would say we're behind in this lane right now. I don't like this. You have 2 choices. You can walk back to heal and then TP to lane, which, if you choose to do that, it means that your TP... So let's say it takes 35 seconds to run home. If you take 35 seconds to run home and then TP back to lane, what's the plus side? Plus side is that you can bring any items your laner needs. In this case, it doesn't matter because Faceless Void died. So you can do that. And then, because you're still affected by Fountain buff for a little bit, you can cast your spell once and recoup some of the mana cost. And, maybe even force some right clicks, they hit you, but you're like, haha, I'm healing, I don't care. So that's a plus. Downside is that your teleport is now on cooldown for 80 seconds. If instead, when you're low, you TP home, you heal up, you can't really... You could bring items. You're probably still faster than the courier. So you could bring him items, but it's going to be slow. You heal up, you walk back. You're not going to have the fountain buff when you get here, so you can't like freely cast a spell or anything. But by the time you get to lane, your TP is like almost half off cooldown, and that's pretty useful in terms of rotating. So one or the other. I didn't mind you walking home, and I think TPing back to lane, especially at the early levels, is fine. I know right here technically Void's safe, so maybe this is okay. But I also think, you know, if you TP'd here, you could then like do a pull or a stack right now, which you're not going to get to do if you walk back. Or like if this lane was further out, you would need to TP in and help this guy because he can't continue to get zoned. At the end of the day, I guess all things considered, this is kind of okay. So you do have the Ring of Regen, but you actually still don't have any tangos left. And a Ring of Regen is like long-term good, but short-term bad. And look at who's in your lane. This guy has a burst with Bloodright, and then with Maledict, it's really important to regen as quickly as you can. They are a burst. You know, they're going to throw all their spells and burst you down, and you can't wait 2 minutes to be able to play the lane again. So I think instead of a Ring of Regen, you're going to need to get tangos and or a salve. And definitely behind. He's level 3, level 1. Cancel Clarity, not too bad. At this point, you should focus your damage on Witch Doctor. Before, it was better on Bloodseeker because he was low, and he's the offlaner. But now he has a healing mechanic, so it's going to be really hard to bully him out. It's kind of like sort of working. You can see, actually, we kind of damaged him a bit there. I don't know if you know why this is okay. I sort of think this is okay right now because you guys are really behind, so you just need to secure this guy farm, and if this lane pushes, like, so be it. But it's actually okay because you could do a pull right here. What's our small camp? Yeah, you could do a... see, it kind of sucks. We would have preferred to do like a half pull earlier and a stack or something. Because if we do a half pull now, this is going to like partially die, and we're only going to have it... You know, another camp's not going to respawn at the 4-minute mark. But still, I think you could do a half pull with this camp. This camp will kill off those 2 creeps, and then you'll have half of this camp still alive, and then you can do another half pull in the next minute. Make sure it dies so that by the 5-minute mark it then respawns. But like here, 347, half pull, and then next time, let's say like 417, or yeah, 417 would be safer. Do that half pull, get those 2 creeps denied. In total, we've denied 4 creeps, maybe 3, and then this camp dies or something. Or maybe we get the 4 creeps killed, and then we kill off this camp, then 5-minute, it spawns. But we haven't made use of that yet. And we're not even making use of this hard camp, you know, so we didn't even need to prioritize dewarding. Stack this camp, okay. Kobolds, unfortunate. But you can now do a... You can still do a half pull, I would say, or you can do a full pull. Looks like a full pull. It's fine. You are at full health, though. So in the meantime, let's go back. How long have you been at full health? For a while. You can go back further. Okay, around now you clarity'd up. So this is fine. But then around now, this is around the time where I think you have time to like... maybe you don't. In this case, you don't really. In other cases, when the lane is like further out, right before you pull, don't forget, if you do a pull, you're sitting there for quite a while. So you're regenning. So if the lane was a bit closer, take this time to like run over, cast a spell, maybe auto attack once or twice, and then run back and do the pull. And then that way, while you're doing this pull, so like right around here, you know, let's say you like harassed, you came back, you hit this camp right now. These are your regen values, 416. Let's see how long you stand here doing this pull. And I mean, it's not bad to stand here and do this pull. Okay, it works out. He kind of like ran to you to use your mana. But in this time, you would have been like healing if you had like a normal pull. Yeah, I was gonna say, you can't run out here. You are really weak right now. If we take a look at the scoreboard, because of what happened at the start, they're both level 4, you're level 2. So you're really behind, And Faceless Void is level 4, but you guys missed those early creeps, and then, I mean, you got killed too, or they got killed. Faceless Void got killed, and now you died. So the enemy team is much stronger than you, and they are just like a burst comp. They will just kill you. So I don't mind you TPing back to lane, but it is to, like, peek your head out here very timidly and be like, are you guys still here doing the pull? You know, very safely, or maybe place a ward somewhere that lets you have vision. They've been dewarding this area here, so it's kind of like this is the area that's safest to ward, but also kind of likely to get dewarded. Maybe back here, but that's like really defensive for your own ward. But like running, sorry, let's switch to just Radiant. Running back here, I still had the sense that if they killed you here, they might still be doing this pull. And that's why as soon as I saw you walk out here, this was really scary for me. And you see the Witch Doctor, and so you like look for the thing, but like, where's Bloodseeker? That should be the question in your mind. If Bloodseeker's not in the lane, where is he? And even if he wasn't on the left side, if he was on the right side, I mean, look how far you are from the tower. They have a stun, they have a slow, this guy's really fast. You're probably, I mean, you are. You just die. So this is like a positioning thing. You need to know that it's really risky for you to come out here. But even though he's level 5, you guys are losing this lane. And if we, first off, net worth. So we are losing it. Doesn't look too bad in terms of net worth values. But then if we look at, not that one. What is XP? R. XP per minute. So he's at 302, but that's because he's been here by himself a lot. 271, 216, and you're down here at 84. So together you guys have 386, and they have like almost 500. So they're doing a lot better in terms of total XP. And which is a shame because your skills scale decently. At least Thunderstrike to level 2 is really strong. And if you get to level 3 and they get to level 3, like if you're all level 3 together, I still think that's like a relatively even lane. But due to what happened at the start, it's a really rough beginning. By the way, looks like you're going for Arcane Boots. Usually that's okay. I think against Bloodseeker, it's a game where you should get Tranquils first. And even if you intend to get Arcanes first, you need to lock one of these pieces. Otherwise, it's going to build... Oh, maybe it is, actually. Let's go back to your perspective. No, okay. Yeah, otherwise it's going to build into a Tranquil Boots. And I don't know if you intend for that or not. This is a really interesting sentry placement. I don't know if this has worked for you historically, but I would say the enemy is most likely to place a ward in this area, and in this area, and over here, and much less likely to place a ward over here or over here, at least at this point of the game. So I think this sentry would be better off like being put here or here, because then that covers more of these areas. And I think that would be a bit more useful of a sentry. I know you did have another sentry here, so I kind of get why you're doing it, but in that case, I would still put it like over here then to get more of this area, because I just think like wards over here are like really bizarre. It's not that useful to the enemy team. Walking out here, really risky. He might just die again. Bloodseeker probably going to come up behind you. Yeah, there he is.
Killing spree.
Yeah, you can't be walking out here, not without knowing where all the heroes are. Pretty much, you're super underleveled, so you have to be playing really safe, just sapping XP in the lane and like doing safe pulls. You can't be playing aggressively like this. No amount of items you could buy right now would save you. You get a wand, raindrops, full boots, whatever. Being level 2 against these guys, you're dead. So I don't mind the raindrops, but still dead. That was a disaster. Okay, you can't contest this guy? Ooh, yeah. I was gonna say you should run bottom. Oh, there you go. You locked it. Yeah, you should run bottom. Even though this guy might still bloodright and kill you, bottom is just a lot safer because what are the odds an enemy hero is in here? Very low. But I know that Witch Doctor is still in this lane because, I don't know, at this level, people just don't roam around that much. So Witch Doctor is still coming to this lane, and so where's Witch Doctor going to be? He's more likely to be in this area or over here. So walking bottom is just safer for you. Though I do know you were trying to like avoid the Bloodseeker, so that part is fine, but just go bottom instead. Stick, small items. I think that's okay. I think maybe I would have done a stick instead of a raindrops. I think the value of stick is that they do cast a lot of spells, and we're trying not to get hit by them, so that way we'll get stick charges. And then when they use Maledict, this provides a heal, which if you heal past when Maledict gets cast on you, then you won't take you're not going to take any damage from it, besides like its general dot. I don't really mind you coming top. Bottom lane is kind of like done at this point, so I do think it's good to like come up here and try to get something done. Hey, see, like there's your ward, right? And just think about it on the other side, like where are they likely to place a ward? Glimpse that guy. Oh, you don't have it, darn. That's another thing, by the way. I didn't comment on it, but I should have. Some of the times you were chasing Witch Doctor around, you were like using both Thunderstrike and Kinetic Field to try to harass him. This is a lot of mana for a whole lot of nothing, you know? It provides no damage, and you can trap the guy there, but honestly, he could just right-click trade you and come out okay. Disruptor's right-click is not that great, especially because you only have 2 armor. So you really just want to trade Thunderstrikes, and you use Kinetic Field when they, like really when you're close to getting a kill, or like your teammate can help or something, or they're diving you. But just like casual harass, I wouldn't use Kinetic Field. It's just kind of a waste of mana, and it's a long cooldown. Thunderstrike is just plenty for your harassment needs. And don't mind the sentry. Odds are, though, the way they're playing, I don't think they see you. Why? Because there's a Pudge here looking for hooks, and they're still just like standing around. So it's very unlikely they see you right here. That's kind of how I'm basing it off. So it looks like I'm wrong. It looks like they do have a ward over here. I don't know why they were just standing around then. Maybe we get it now. Or did he just place that? Well, whatever. You get it. That's what matters. Underlord's probably dead, but we're rotating in a lot of people. Kind of okay. Hit level 4. I don't know if he's the guy you want to glimpse. I think you just hold glimpse. Like, I don't mind you. I think you should get it level 4. But Bloodseeker was actually kind of low. And so, like, him running this way had the best chance. Was still, like, good enough for you guys to kill him. Just having an internal clock. I think you mentioned you're like working on Disruptor, so like if you mess it up, okay, like it's not a big deal. But eventually you do need an internal timer of like about where was he 4 seconds ago, because that's how this works. And so since he ran out here so fast, it is gonna glimpse him back here, and now you're definitely not gonna kill this guy. Whereas if it was over here, slightly more likely. Plus, you would have saved glimpse, and now when this guy starts channeling, you can cancel that. So if we think about what you're gonna use glimpse for this game. 1, canceling channels, not bad. So canceling this channel right here. Also, if like Quap blinks away or this guy like sprints away, glimpsing them back because you have really long range. The synergy with Zeus ult is like pretty decent. Yeah. It's kind of working out okay for you guys. Quap feeding an extra kill too. All right, that kind of saved your guys' game. You're still pretty. How'd you actually level up that far? You're at 4. What? Hang on. What did I miss? you kill the Bloodseeker. I missed that. And you hit 6. Nice. By the way, when you're running away from this guy, run up here. He needs sight of you to kill him, so you should be trying to break line of sight through these trees. And instead of running out of range, it's actually faster for you to like break line of sight by running into there. Yeah. That kill kind of saved you, honestly. You were extremely underleveled, but getting that kill just kind of like saved it. So now we can play a normal game, but just to clarify, absolutely should not have been able to play a normal game. The laning went really badly, you know? And part of that was just like not buying enough regen and playing too aggressively repeatedly. And this should have been like extremely difficult for you from now on, because you were like level 3 when this all started, and even with a tome, that should put you at like 4 and something, maybe 5. But you still would have been really underleveled. But getting that Bloodseeker kill just before you died really saved you. But we can now play like a normal game, and we should yeah, I like this. Come top again, play with Pudge, play with Underlord. Underlord went bottom. Unfortunate. As long as you're playing with like Pudge and a core, it's fine. So they're gonna know you warded there because the Bloodseeker saw you. That is the downside of making those kind of plays. I would just actually it looks like it's fine. I was gonna say maybe you have to throw out your abilities because you're about to die there. Nice, good choice. So it looks like you were really low when you decided I'm just gonna Tranquil Boots and live so I can keep playing the lane. I do think that's a great call, but I also think this is just a good Tranquil Boots game because you're dealing with a Bloodseeker, and you never want to be low on health. Good map awareness, by the way, checking on them right there. Your team's kind of scattered. If I was you, I'd be asking the Underlord and the Pudge to keep playing top with you. I mean, just think of it this way. You guys pressure top, Pudge hook someone, Firestorm, your Q, Zeus ult. That guy's dead. The enemy team rotates in to help, you glimpse one of them home. You're in a position to like win top from there. Any fight that goes on there, 3 versus however many. At most, it's 3 versus 3, right? So if you like hook one guy, kill him right off the bat, even if all 4 people teleport in and you glimpse one home, you guys are a little weak because you just used all your spells. But now it's 3 on 3, and you guys just like retreat until your spells are up again. And that leaves the rest of the map free. So like worst case scenario, where everyone TP's in, still good for you. But they're not. No one ever TPs the whole team. They're just gonna TP some of the team. And then you're gonna get like a 3 versus 2, a 3 versus 1, if you glimpse one of them home. Man, they're just giving you a bunch of D wards up here. I am glad you put your sentry in the trees for that reason, by the way. For everyone else, you know, if you're thinking about where to place your sentries, you know, why place a sentry out here when you can place it right here? Very similar coverage and less likely to get spotted. We'll be a little closer to your Underlord right now. You know, positioning back is safely is like good, but close enough that you can still help, you know? If he Firestorm pits someone, then you kinetic field, and then they're trapped in there under Firestorm and your Thunderstrike, that's a ton of damage. Probably a kill, even.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Okay. You might consider putting a ward. Oh, you have one here. I know you just de-warded this, but that's kind of why like one in the very corner is like okay. Even if it's likely to get de-warded, the reason I want you to place a ward is because right now I want the 3 of you to pressure this tower, and it's very scary to do that because, you know, what if we don't have vision and they all come up here? We have this one, but like, what if they're all TPing back here? Or like, what if there's already people in this area? That's why the ward helps you play there, and even if it gets de-warded, you are using that vision to pressure this tower, which is creating space for everything else. So if you can get your team to do that, then I think placing a ward there is good. It kind of looks like you can't, like only Underlord's up here. So maybe it's fine not to place the ward for now.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Rotating down here to help out. You guys probably dead. Good stuff. Tried your best to save him. Honestly, almost got a return kill. Underlord looks like he's gonna get top now, actually, so kind of working out for you. I would continue to stay bottom though. He doesn't. Okay, if Underlord had a TP, I think what should happen is oh, this is actually lower than I realized. Okay, maybe just ditch bottom. I'm gonna say I think you guys could defend it. Like if he quickly gets top and then he rotates in with like Zeus, I think you guys could hold it. But looks like it was lower than I realized, and you guys didn't have that much health. Or he didn't have his teleport. When you have haste, depending what you see on the map, it can be a great time to just like run into their jungle and like see who's here. If no one's here, you take a like YOLO bet on like if they don't have wards, I can now place a ward and get out, and they'll never know. If you run up here and you find out someone's here, it's like, all right, I'm out, and you have haste, and you're good. Haste is kind of like this safety measure where it's like you can risk your life just blindly walking into their jungle because there's a good chance you can blindly run out again. Against a Bloodseeker, maybe a slightly less chance, but you know, in many other matchups, you can just like quickly check, and if no one's here, okay, take your best hope at putting a ward. If they deward it, you know that they had vision here. Or you can do what you did, run up here, drop a sentry, check, and then ward. Alright, just want to get out. Oh, sorry, let's go back to your perspective. Just want to get out right now. I don't really care about playing here too much. Let me change that. I'm glad you guys are playing here, but I don't care to commit too hard. So like getting this rotation up here, fantastic. Carries are farming freely. Well, he's a little too close. I wish he was like pushing mid or something. But we saw that a ton of heroes came top. This is fantastic. We didn't commit and feed away a bunch of kills because that would have been bad. But we drew people up top, and that's good. That's why I want you in this area, but I don't want you to commit to this area right now when we're gonna like lose the fight. So really good. Okay, got your Void Stone. TPing bottom. Can we save this guy? Probably not. So I don't love this teleport just because I know that they're all up here. I know we just drew a ton of people up here. What are they naturally gonna do? Well, they should they should push. Maybe they're just gonna disperse in jungle. But you have this ward. You can see if they disperse in jungle, and they haven't. What that means is they're gonna push top. So Bloodseeker going on the Zeus is unfortunate. But Bloodseeker killing this Zeus, you know, especially if it takes you 6 seconds to teleport here, right? Zeus is probably just dead. Teleporting bottom, maybe you can change the outcome, but you guys both accidentally TP'd to the outpost, so that wasn't going to work. What that means, though, is that this guy's going to die, and Bloodseeker's not really going to take this tower on his own. You'll have time to react to that. But if you both teleport down here, now no one's up here to defend. Who can defend? Underlord can defend really well. But now he just TP'd out. Does he have his ult? He does not. He has Greaves. Like, he wants to be in larger scale fights that, you know, don't throw. So, like, 3 versus 4, not ideal, so not the fight. But, like, 4 versus 4 under the tower, because Chrono, or Faceless Void was here. This is pretty good. But if he TP's down here, then, like, you know, how's he going to make use of Greaves? How's this? So, I think you just kind of make a call to, like, leave that guy to die and defend top. That would have been better. Because, like, the two of you... I was about to say the two of you aren't going to kill this guy, but then it actually came pretty close. Yeah, look, we didn't kill the guy. And they got top tower. Okay, now they dove too hard. They should have been able to convert that to a second tower, honestly. But they looks like they dove a little too hard. For you right now, I still just want you to play with Pudge and Underlord. Even if you can't get them to go like in optimal places, just follow them around. Optimally speaking, I do think this area right now is pretty good for you guys. With the same idea. I want you in the area, but you don't have to commit. You know, if they come in, leave, and that's fine. Force them up here while your carries are farming. Bottom can also work. You have decent vision here. So yeah, maybe bottom pressuring this tower is kind of okay right now. 3 of you just chip this. Don't forget you got Zeus ult. And then maybe Faceless Void is up here farming. But for Faceless Void to be up here farming, it would have been nicer to like get some wards down there first so that he feels a little safer in the area. So that's kind of why I think, okay, you got wards bottom, let him farm bottom, and you guys take the dangerous part. But if it was like switched a bit, your wards are top and there's this part's blind, then I think you guys playing bottom's okay. Or even if you have wards in both areas, I still think you guys playing bottom could be okay then, because Faceless Void gets to farm this top area. Which is really good, because Ancients are in that part. On your half of the map. I know there are Ancients on this part of the map, but it's scary for Void to go over there. 2 Dragon Scales? That's crazy! Right now, you've just been, like, sitting here for a bit. I think you were, like, deciding what to do or something. You could consider jungling in that time. Like, if you're thinking and you see the time, yeah, maybe just, like, jungle a little bit. Ooh, if he had done his ult. It's hard to click it. I'm not good at it either. Doing the, like, shift ult while they're being hooked over, I'm really bad about that. I guess if I was a Pudge spammer, I'm sure I would learn to do it. That was definitely a kill, though, if he had gotten it. Yeah, right now everyone's just, like, being scared. I don't think you have to be that scared. You've got, like, Underlord, Greaves. I think you guys are pretty strong. I think you guys should just, like, go together, though. And it would be okay. And then not, you know, repeating, not taking, like, the 3-on-5 fight, but, like, you bring a group of you, and if you see if they don't meet you with an equal group, then you can pressure. If they bring more people, then it's like, okay, we'll just back off. Our carries were farming. Okay, this is overkill. This is overkill, though. This is overlap. So this, nice. Nice. He ults. Ult lasts what? 3 seconds right now? So she literally cannot do a single thing for 3 seconds. Now, there's no need to silence her right now. You're overlapping a lot. Just throw Thunderstrike and auto attack and see what happens, you know? And honestly, this has a 1800 cast range. She has a 1300 blink range. So even if you let her blink away, you can just glimpse her back. Where are you? Here you are. So right now, this looks like a good kill. She knows, she messed up. That's a good kill, but you didn't need to use your ult. Without your ult, you're a bit weaker on the team fight. Your ult with Underlord's really strong, right? He pits 2 people, Firestorm, Static Storm, Kinetic Field, repeated roots, under all that AoE. That's crazy. Nimbus later. But without it, you're a bit weaker. I think you guys probably could have pressured right there after you kill the Quap. If you all move together. If you look at your abilities, Chrono's up, Zeus ult, Pudge ult very low cooldown, so, you know, not a huge deal. But, like, you have your abilities, and she does not. It's go time. Go time. Ooh, looks like you've switched to a Yules. I don't mind that. I'm cool with the Yules. You can Yules, Quap, and then drop your Static Storm and all that. I'm okay with this. I was actually going to say I don't feel like you need an Aether that badly. Even though it has pretty good synergy with the Zeus, I think that, you know, you got several other ways to catch him. You got a Pudge, a Faceless Void, an Underlord. So we don't need the, Cool, let's go kill those guys. End this man. Alright, overlap again, right? He was still ulted, don't need to, he was still Pudge ulted, don't need to drop this quite yet. And he doesn't have a BKB right now anyway, so I kind of think you just Kinetic Field, let him die. What it means is that every time you overcommit something, it means you can't do more. So right now this guy's dead. You should be able to push this further and get stuff. But if you blow all your resources on a single kill, you can't really do that. Now, I do think you guys are way in here, so it'd be a great time to get a deep ward somewhere. You're really checking this area, and unfortunately, you missed the one down there. If we think about where they're likely to ward on this part of the map, though. They still have these 2 towers and this one. So, let me put it another way. If you were warding your own jungle right now, this area, and you didn't have this mid tower, and you still had this top tower, where would you ward it? You're going to ward near the entrance so you see people walk in. It's very strange to ward this part of the map when you still have like these towers up. So same for them. They still have this tier 2 and this mid tower. So like it's a little weird for them to go ward their high ground or like anywhere back here. It's far more likely for them to ward, you know, I would say here is even still a little defensive for them. Here and along here is very likely. So you committed all these sentries, which I don't hate, like checking for wards. But I think that, you know, you wouldn't have to spend as many if you think real quick, where are they likely to ward? Let me check those areas. Didn't see anything there. Okay, maybe now we check the less likely areas. But you should start with where is most likely to have a ward. And that is like this area. And in fact, I saw on the minimap that they do have a ward somewhere in this area. Oops. Alright, slow down. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, maybe that glimpse is okay. Oh, he still died. What happened there? Imagine if you had your ult there, and then you don't need to glimpse this guy out. You just like ult on top of him. Then that would be pretty good. You guys threw a little bit there, I would say. What are the neutrals? You're still holding this poor man's shield. Oh yeah, take a look. Keen Optic, way better. I would grab that. Poor man's shield is also pretty decent on Faceless Void. I don't know if he had it first. I kind of missed when you picked this up. But I would, you know, it's not that useful for you. Alright, we just saw Queen of Pain TP top. That means she can't be here or here. She can't be anywhere in this area for like 80 seconds. Or at least it'll take her like 20 to 30 seconds to get here. So that means this mid fight right now, very possible. Kind of have to wait for Underlord and him to come up, but then I think you guys could do this. You know, don't walk in too soon. So like, yeah, you're going in too soon, kind of blowing resources. If they don't get here in time for this tower, like, so be it. We messed up, we lose the tower. But then, after they get this tower, people spawn and teleport in. Now we can look for like a kill as they like start to disperse from this tower. So you don't need to go in too soon like that. In the end, you are kind of, it looks like you bait the Bloodseeker, so not the worst, but I still think you didn't have to die for that. I think, especially with Disruptor, after they get this tower and they start to disperse, then you run in and you glimpse someone who's trying to retreat back in. And I think that's really powerful, because now the rest of the team has like already backed up to here, and they're, you know, 50-50 just abandon that guy, or they all run back in. But hopefully by the time they get here, you've killed this guy, or almost killed him. And that's better than like going in first. Yeah, so you're at 7 deaths. It is a bit of a lot. You gotta be like careful with your positioning. Careful. Alright, so we smoked. You're running in first though. If this is just a warding mission, I guess that's okay. But hey, if you're gonna commit a smoke, might as well look for a kill, right? You got Pudge ult, and yeah, that's kind of all you need, right? Pudge ult, if you find one person and no one cancels it, and you have like 2 other heroes there, probably enough damage to kill the guy. Blocking that camp. This is interesting. You're blocking a lot of their camps. Trying to decide if that's worth it. Someone else just did this recently in one of the replays. The Warlock one, I think we did. I don't hate it. But also try not to overcommit to it. So like instead of trying to block every single camp, if you block every single camp, then it highly prioritizes that, okay, we need to unblock every camp for the enemy team. And so they're going to come do that. And like if we look at this camp's small. So like a sentry over here will cover this whole camp and cover most of this camp. And in fact, look at that. You commit 2 sentries, but it would only take 1 sentry here to get both of yours. So you're on the losing side of that with the enemy support. Now, of course, you did stop the Sven from farming like maybe 1 or 2 camps. But your own value, like this was less optimal. So what I like to do if I want to block a lot of camps, I don't block all of them like this, like 1, 2, 3. That would mean Sven would never come up here, and he would say, okay, it's much more optimal for me to be down here. What I try to do instead is I'll block this camp, and then I'll block this camp. And what that means is when Sven walks here, he goes, oh, this is blocked, or maybe someone farmed it, I don't know. He runs up here, farms this, runs up here. Oh, this is a waste of time. Now where do I go? So like he's wasting some time running to camps he doesn't know are blocked. And then later, if I'm over here, like, hey, you've blocked this one, so this is suboptimal. So now both sides are suboptimal, and when the enemy support comes to de-block these, they use 1 sentry per your 1 sentry. So right now, like, these 2 are within 1 sentry range. Like, who knows? Maybe they guess it or not. But, like, if I was them and this is blocked, I put my sentry, like, somewhere here because that covers the whole camp and covers some of this, and maybe I get yours or not. So if, like, you want to block these 2, you know, maybe this corner and this corner so that they're far apart and that 1 sentry will not get both. Kind of same here. Like, if you want to block these 2 camps, this one, like, over here, which I know is, like, risky, but, and then this one would be, like, over here or over here. But yeah, instead of blocking all the camps together, try, like, do a bit of a scattering. Block the most important ones. So, like, okay, a hard camp here and a hard camp here. Splitting up the sentries. So now he walks here, he's like, oh, this is blocked. Farm this. Oh, this is blocked. Farms this. He's, like, wasting some time checking empty camps. And these wards kind of, like, overlap a bit. And they serve, like, a very similar purpose. Okay, we see a lot of them up here, 3. So, you know, I'm telling my team. And maybe I'm heading to my team as well right now. Like, maybe we can start something mid or top. Or bottom, sorry. Are you going to body block this? No, you choose to block it. Yeah, so I feel like... I don't know. I think it's just a large commitment to block so many camps. I'm okay with blocking, like, a couple camps at a time. But don't forget, like, if you can get your team to play aggressively... I know you're a bit on the losing end. But if you can get your team to play aggressively, then you can, like, steal their farm. And I think that's, like, overall far more cost-effective. Yeah. I don't know. I have to think about it more to... Hey, 2 repair kits again. I have to think about it more to put it into words better. But I just think it's a very large sentry commitment into blocking camps. And in this case, you do have a Zeus who can do dewarding for you. But if you lose all your sentries blocking camps, and then later you lose the vision war because you don't have enough sentries, that's not worth it, I would say. Unless they have someone like Alchemist, Broodmother, Nepo. Those are very important to block at an earlier time. It's, like, very important to block those camps at, like, the 5 to 15 minute mark. At this point, it's, like, it's not bad, but I wouldn't say it's critical. And even though Sven's a pretty fast farmer, you know, like, block the Ancients, block a couple hard camps. I think that's okay. But, like, a medium camp here and there, like, I don't want to spend so much money on sentries because now I'm not finishing my own items, and I get a lot of value from, you know, maybe finishing a certain item, like a Yule's. A Yule's means you can set up and kill Quap on her own until she gets a BKB.
Hello, this is Dave Newell. Thanks for playing Dota 2. Double kill.
Oh, we're at 54 minutes. Not even halfway. Honestly, though, I think we will speed up a lot because I feel like the laning was the biggest issue. Like, if I had to give you 2 messages, it would be, like, work on the laning. I know this is probably, like, a pretty rough case scenario. I doubt all your lanes end up like this. But, making that mistake at all does tell me you didn't fully appreciate what health regen does for you in the lane. and I suspect that can affect you in other lanes. So try, if anything, I would err on the side of having too much regen, like buying too much, and then learn to cut back. And I think that's better than erring on the side of too little regen and then having to buy more. Because if you have too little, you see, like, you get crushed in the lane. If you have too much, you should still win the lane and then just be a little cost inefficient. So not going crazy overboard, like 50 tangos and stuff like that, but like 3 sets of tangos, 2-3 salves, like, it's not that much of a commitment in resources. And if you win the lane, then like you're gonna get some of that back anyways. But if you lose the lane, kind of like you did, then it's like way behind. And then also try not to like overcommit on sentries like this. If you're doing this every game, I think you're kind of hurting your own game a little bit more than necessary. Cut it down to like, you know, ancient camps and hard camps only or something like that. We'll keep watching a bit more, but like, honestly, I feel like that's a big part of it. I think this game would have been a lot easier if your lane had gone better. Although you did get that kill and that kind of like saved you a bit, but... And then we also talked about like getting your team to play together a little. Right now you have to play top. No one can leave. Roshan is almost dead. This is like, what's happening? We know they're doing Roshan. We know they're in this area. You have a ward here, so you know they're not back there. They are in this area right here. All 5 of us must be together. All 5 of us. Well, not like right together, because then you're going to get like Sven cleaved and like womboed. But like, you know, close enough. This is already like a bit spread out. So then you two coming up here alone, this is extremely risky. Because like, look how far they are. And look how close together they are. They're doing things together, you guys are not. And now they should get Roshan. Yeah, right in there. Yeah, so that shouldn't have happened. You guys definitely needed to play together, and even if you just like stand out here together and Zeus bolts, or like you throw a kinetic field into check, make sure they're not doing Roche, until you see one of them go somewhere else, you guys all have to be together and you know, a bit safely positioned, but like everyone has to be ready. Like, we saw Roshan almost dead. Everyone needs to be right here, ready to stop them. If like Sven tries to rush in and finish it, like, you have to go. And I know you were kind of like up here, but like the team needs to be up here. If the team's not up here, then you have to back off as well. And at that point, you have identified the correct thing to do, but also not made a misplay. Like, walking up by yourself without the rest of the team, that's a mistake as well. So... yeah. Yeah, this Yule's timing, because like we had a rough start because of all the sentries, like we're pretty poor. You know, this Yule's, it's like 32 minutes. This is our first item. It's so late. Part of that is dying a lot, but part of that is also the sentries. 10 sentries is 750 gold. I don't know how many you've bought. Let's see. Yeah, this is a lot of sentries to buy, and I don't think they even have a single invis hero. He's like working on a shadow amulet or a glimmer, or maybe he just kept it at that. You know, but this is like their only source of invis, and this is a ton of sentries. Like, this is how many sentries you buy when you're against like Ricky, Bounty Hunter, or like techies and stuff. So just casually buying this amount is a ton. Like, you see how it affects your money. And we just have to play really carefully. That looked pretty good. I was going a little too fast. Yeah, so you were back. They all ran in. That was a good combo. I think you don't need to ult in here, though. Oh, you ulted first before the chrono. Okay. That's fine, then. We see multiple BKBs on their team. That means you might have to wait. You either get to bait out their BKBs, or you have to wait for their BKBs. So, like, you ult them so they BKB, or you wait for them to BKB for whatever reason, and then you can use your ult after. It also puts in mind that an Aghanims could be really good. Because right now you no longer... Like, Yule's into ult. Here's kind of why those sentries were bad. Yule's into ult should have been a kill on, like, Queen of Pain. She thinks she can play very aggressively because she can blink out. You Yule's her, you ult below, kinetic field, she's stuck in there, she dies. Because she's silenced and she can't escape. And that kind of works on anyone. That's, like, why Yule's is good. Also, Yule's can cancel the channel. That's also good. But at the time you get Yule's, she has her BKB. And that's kind of crazy, right? Because this was your first item you built, even though you're a support. And she's a core. But BKB is, like, almost never the first item she builds. Anyone builds. So this is actually a really fast BKB timing for a pub. I'm actually impressed. This is, like, good itemization. And in fact, they all have BKBs. This is, like, pretty well coordinated. But, like, what's our net worth? Yeah, you know, like, it took her 1,500. It only takes, like, less than 3,000 to finish the Yules. And then, like, some support items along the way, too. But, like, this should have happened way sooner, I think. And then you can get a kill or two off of that combo, and then she doesn't quite finish the BKB yet. It delays her BKB timing. It gets you more money. And the sentries kind of, like, they screw your Yule's timing off. And that means by the time you finish this, like, it actually doesn't matter anymore because they have BKBs. Void here to farm this. Now, you guys can still win late. Bloodseeker kind of drops off as a hero, and your heroes all scale really well, I would say. Quap, decent scaling. Sven drops off later, especially when you get, like, halberds, lotuses, stuff like that. So right now, if I'm you, I'm thinking Lotus or Aghanims is pretty solid. Yeah, I like that. Good use of it.
Worthy tribute.
There's a lot of sentries. Don't forget Zeus can check this himself, too. If anything, you should have bought less sentry this game because you have a Zeus. Good deny. This is the best item for you. What else did you guys pick up? Yeah, I'm okay with this. Part of me also thinks Keen Optic, that slight amount of range is still not bad. But I also like this. This is a little bit countered by the fact that they have a Bloodseeker. But still not bad, just like more mobility for a support. It's kind of like always decent. Lets you stay further back before committing into the fight. Didn't you have Dust on a different key before? I think you did. On one hand, it's like, it doesn't matter. On the other hand, I do think it's good to try to keep buttons on the items on, like, the same keys if possible to build muscle memory. Kind of decide, like, this is my Yule's key, this is my Dust key. At the same time, it's kind of a personal preference thing. I think it's deleted there, right, by Sven. So what happened? See her going in there. I guess you would have died no matter what. Let's see, I think this is a decent buyback. Cancel his. Cool. Quickly run up here. They've used BKBs. You can ult. Yeah. Slightly. Might have been too late for this. The enemy team doesn't convert this into a win. Let's see what they do. Okay, 1 Rax. Force out a BKB. Alright, 1 Rax, not the worst. This smoke, though, like, there are creeps there. They know this is happening. Someone needs to push us out a little sooner. At the same time, you kind of have to, like, go immediately if you want. So I don't hate this, especially because you see Ogre's top, so... Hey. That's why an Ags would be nice to kind of counter these BKBs. Sometimes that's all you need to do as a hero. Disruptor, I mean. Sometimes all you need to do is prevent BKBs. Oh, I thought you were going to get out.
Double kill.
And so even though you're position 5, sometimes it's okay to rush a really fast Ags. Is this one of those games? I kind of think so, because if they can't BKB, Zeus and Underlord put out a ton of damage. How do you win this game? We have to watch it all. We got to know. Maybe we'll skip forward a bit. Yeah, I think it's okay this game if you were to go BK, or not BKB, Ags right now. Just cancel out 5 seconds. They can't BKB. And you have Firestorm and Zeus ult, and not to mention your own damage. That's kind of a lot. They can't use any abilities, stuff like that. It's really good. If you need other stuff, you need other stuff. But nothing else I see is like calling out that much to me. The Lotus Orb is pretty good. I think you mentioned you were trying to ask your teammates to build one. I think I might prioritize the Ags over the Lotus anyways. Similar price, and I think the Ags has more potential. If they've done multiple Roches and you think you can get a Ags from the Roche, then that's a reason to go Lotus. But otherwise, I think the Ags has a bit more potential here. Because Underlord should be the one to get the Lotus.
They're unstoppable.
Oh, is this how we win? We get them to get hooked into Fountain repeatedly. Second hook. Let's go. Oh, here we go. Oh, come on. Okay. Enemy team throwing hard. Nice. This is wild. We gotta watch it. I may not even comment that much. Let's just watch it to enjoy it. Yeah, I don't mind this ward. This is your last lane of rank, so you need a lot of vision in this area. It's fine. I'm gonna have to try to push out every lane as much as possible. Roshan, I hope you pinged the time. I don't think you did. I didn't see your mouse do it, so. I like this a lot, though, what you're doing. This is really good. Oh, don't break those last trees. Aether, I think, is not needed, though. To finish out the thought, Ags and Lotus were really good. Aether is like extra cast range. Aether is like, oh, we're doing well at the start. Let's abuse this. You guys are like on the back foot this whole time, you know? So Aether is a bit too luxury for you. So try to stay a little closer, get the XP from that. I know it's scary, but you know, if you have a chance, try to be in that area. I believe as well, instead of like running through these trees, I've never tested this quite myself, but I think you might be able to like push up through like this top part a bit. Maybe only Phoenix can do that, actually. Never mind. That's something Phoenix can do. I don't know if it works with the spider legs. I guess I don't mind that ward. No. All right, okay. Here's the play. Underlord and Zeus, really good at defending high ground, right? Wait one more wave. Cut the next wave, if you can. It should be right around. Look at your, if you're never sure, look at your minimap. Your creeps are around their tier 2. That means their creeps are right around here. If you were, so instead of TPing out, you run out, stand here, use your abilities. Do you have buyback? You don't. So that makes this a bit more risky. But if you were to do that and cut the next wave, that means your team just needs to defend these 2 waves, and you've bought yourself 30 seconds. And that'd be really good. Like, let's watch who clears these. Where's Zeus? What's he doing? There we go. Yeah, did you contribute anything to this? Nah, you're not needed yet. So if you can see all of them here, so that's kind of part of it. Wait to see like a lot of the heroes here, and then you can like cut the waves. But like right now, this wave would be dead, which means what are they doing right now? They can't do anything. There's like no creeps here. Now, technically they can, like they could push in mid or bottom and then move their way top, but many people won't think about it that at this level. They're just like going straight down the lane that they're trying to push. Think about overkill again. So this guy's already chronoed. Don't need to ult yet. She happens to blink into chrono. Even if she blinked here and you had this down, she's just going to BKB. So really what you need to save your ult for is for when his BKB ends, and then you can like ult him. Or you can use it to, you know, cancel the... He's dead already, but you could use it to cancel his ult or stuff like that. You know, by the time he comes out of his BKB, like, your ult is done. So right now, he could now be silenced and everything, and then he wouldn't be able to get the stun off. And look, your guy's dead, actually. Oh, he's barely alive, right? What if this guy couldn't stun because he was silenced? He's probably dead right there. This guy would have put out the rest of the damage, or your ult would have done the damage. So be really careful about that. And that kind of popped up in the video I released. Well, it kind of dated this video. The Crystal Maiden video, the understanding your spells. One of the topics is like, do you pierce BKB? And it sounds so obvious, but it's like, if it doesn't pierce BKB, you can't use it. You have to wait or play around it. And in this case, he's BKB'd and chronoed, right? So there's no need to silence him because he's already stunned, and he's BKB'd, so it literally doesn't do anything. And like, I know it sounds super basic, but like, sit down, think about that for a second, and like, you realize like, yeah, there's no point in casting it. And then when you're playing the game, you see him BKB'd, and you're like, I thought about this before. I don't need to cast it, right? There's no point. It helps you avoid overlap to think of these simple things beforehand. At least that's how I approach it and how I feel about it. And like right now, I think this guy would be dead. He's dead anyways now, so it's like it's working out. Here's where we glimpse him, right? Almost. Where is he? Dang. Oh, he's giving himself away. He's probably gone. Nice try though. I like it. Okay, this is too far now. All right, where's the rest of our team? This is going too far. We need to check Roshan. No, actually, they already had Roshan earlier. Sorry. When I pause a lot, I always lose track. Right, we find him, but like, what's the point? And then another, just thinking about your skills, like, does it ever make sense to cast both of these at the same time on the same point? Probably not. You have to like cast Glimpse. If you know where he's gonna go, you could like pre-cast it, I suppose. But usually you cast Glimpse, see where he's gonna end up, and then Kinetic Field. If you do both, it's just kind of like a waste of mana, because you just glimpse him right out of your Kinetic Field. The ult seems like overkill, but also maybe it's okay. What are your talents so far, by the way? I feel like by the time you were 15, they had BKBs, so I kind of think the cast range is better. If you're getting Static Storm duration, it means they either don't have BKBs or you plan on getting an Aghanims. But yeah, I don't mind the True Sight talent, even though they don't really have an Invis hero, so I also think you could get away with not doing this. Like, I actually think this one's pretty good, but with a Zeus on your team, I don't know if you really need this. He can check warding spots for you, and so then you can just use, like, the Thunder Strikes to help push things out and add a bit more damage. And then I'm personally a fan of the Glimpse cooldown. Yeah, that's still a overly aggressive positioning. Nice escape. That's pretty good. It did force you to TP out, though, right? Which means you can't help with this, and now we see stuff going on here. I'm glad you were checking, keeping an eye on it. Like, maybe that wouldn't have happened if you weren't so far out, and your team rushed to help you, even though you were TPing out. Your team got caught out a bit because of your positioning. Right now, by the way, after you TP'd home and you're being scared, because you TP'd out, so you have to be here. Otherwise, an option you can have is like immediately start like heading up what you were doing earlier, heading up in the trees and waiting to like cut the wave and push it out. You see him now, so it's like, okay, obviously you're not going to show yet. We're just going to wait here, and later if you see them all mid or bottom or something, then you can come out and push the wave, and you're already in a position to do that. Oh, we just sit here for a little bit now. We do a lot of long games, huh? I mean, I know I already talk a lot. I think we get a lot of long replays, though. You guys play a lot of, like, 50 minutes. I mean, I guess it's true. It's hard to end early at lower levels, right? I don't know if that's insulting or not. My bad, guys. Alright, just chilling. This is pretty much what you can do. This is why you kind of have to set yourself up beforehand. Like, once they're here, right, now you can't really sneak out into the trees. That's kind of why I was saying it ahead of time. Okay, funny enough, things you cannot depend on Zeus or your kinetic field true sight to do is to have like sentries here and here, because at any point they could place a ward, you know? So like say Zeus checks this area and you think it's clear and then they place a ward. That sucks. Now they can see you this whole time. So when you're defending your base like this is where it's really important to have sentries inside your base. All right, back to you. Now, where are our wards? Map is dead. I think I got one out here, I guess. We just blink that into my team. Just one of these games here a bit. Just chilling. But you see, this is the power of your high ground, right? Even though they're 14k ahead, 2 sets of racks, your team's actually so good at pushing it out. Oh, he went too far. Oh, this is your chance to win now. Sven bought back for what? Should probably slow down a little bit. The fight's getting scattered. Sort of why it's starting to work out. Oh, you ended up buying Ghost Scepter. Don't forget, with Sven's Dispel talent, this doesn't matter. That's why the Lotus is good. If you're really worried about Sven, a Blink is really good because you can disjoint his stun, and also it lets you stay further back. All right, enemy through again. All right, resume sitting. Roshan should be up around now if my messed up internal timer is somewhere on track. I think this means it's up. Ogre's still dead. You coming up all the way on your own, very scary. Any of these cores could kill you alone. So you really want your team to be like up with you. Hey, look at that. Oh, you lived. Needed some help from your team though, right? So we're lucky you got caught out here instead of over here. I see another ult that just doesn't do anything because they have BKBs. That's why like you're good early and then later like you need the Ags or you need to like hold it. Like this guy, Witch Doctor, unlikely to get a BKB. You know, so then your ult can be useful to cancel his ult or to save it for after their BKBs. All right, they're gonna get Roshan now. Or you could have maybe all gone to contest, but you guys took a little too long. All right, they're probably gonna come throw again. I know you win this game, so here's my guess. They focus on kills. You kill the Aegis twice. He doesn't have buyback because he bought back earlier. This guy just cheesed at full health. Don't even know if they have a refresher or an Ags. Almost died. Something I've noticed, you like chase people who are low health. Don't worry about that too much. Don't put yourself in a position, well, it really depends, so it's hard to say this, but like some of these I'm like, you know, chasing Sven at low health, that's crazy to me right now because 4 of them are still alive, the other 4, and they're all healthy. They'll kill you. Or at other times, like you chase that ogre, to start I was like happy with it, and then as you get to their side it's like, okay, it's not worth it anymore, you know? So try to be aware of that. It's not some of these kills are really important. You know, this guy has Aegis, no buyback. It is really good to get the kill, but you know, you don't have buyback either. It's really important for you not to die right now. And like Sven could probably kill you if he stuns you and then like crits you. So you know, realize your kill potential. There again, you kinetic field and glimpse. No need to do both. Just do one or the other, and then kinetic field here. Oh. Killed by Orchid. Alright, how do we win this? Bashlord? Oh, Bashlord. Gave you enough money to buy back. Clemson back in. Sick. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Didn't lose the last racks. All right, right now, what should you be doing? Because you're doing... this is just what we talked about. You're like, where's that low health guy? I want the kill. But, like, who cares? Just go down a lane. You know, your job right now, I would say, do you add much tower damage? Not really. So your job is to make sure that these creeps don't, like, backdoor kill your rack. So, like, push this out once or twice, and then rush to join your team. Right? Because you're not really needed. The enemy team's not going to fight you on this T2, and they're not really going to fight you at this T3 either. They're going to hope you, like, waste time on other things. I was wrong. So that's why they lose. This tower really doesn't matter. What is happening to this tower right now? I see another like, you have to think about the order of the spells you want to use. So right now, if you're going to play a Disruptor, I think he's great. Sit down a little bit and just think. Does it ever make sense to Yules and Kinetic Field at the same time? No. I should Yules, and then at the end of Kinetic Field, or I'm sorry, at the end of the Yules, I drop the Kinetic Field and ult. You know, or I glimpse a guy, and then I also press Kinetic Field right on top of him. It doesn't make sense, because you're going to glimpse him out of the Kinetic Field. Stuff like that. Just set it straight in your head. Sit down. 2 minutes. It'll only take you, you know? Think about it. Like, what is the order? What does it, like, which ones go together? Which ones don't? And then it'll help you avoid all of these, like, mechanical mistakes here. I think. It helps me avoid it, so, like, that's the best I can advise, right? That's what works for me, so. Also, read through the Dota 2 wiki for Disruptor. I just think that's good to do. Any hero you plan on spamming and learning, you should just read the wiki. Alright, you guys probably should not try to win here. I don't know who just left. I think you guys should have gotten a Rax and then left. But I suppose you were missing most of your right click. So who'd we lose? Lose Pudge. He's still alive. Man, this game's still going. Wild. I think we're almost at the end here, though. Okay. Immediate objective right now. Very rarely happens. Easy to forget. Gotta get our tier 5 items. So if you guys were to not do this Rax and instead go prioritize farming camps immediately, maybe I'd be okay with that. But I do think you guys had time. You gotta get out right now. Please get out. Oh, thank God they're not here. You should be dead. I don't know what they were doing, but like you were like looking for their wards. Don't forget, if you're de-warding their wards, they see you. And if you're like here and they're here, they're gonna come kill you. So sometimes you have to leave things up because you can't risk your life yet. Oh, actually, I gotta go do something soon, so we do have to finish this.
One night, twice the damage.
Almost lost track of time. I gotta go pick stuff up, guys. Alright. Smoking should have waited for Pudge, though. Right? No need to do this alone. Let's slow down here. This should be the end. Sick Chrono. Right? Do we need to control them if they are chronoed? Chrono is like the ultimate crowd control. It doesn't matter. Like, your silence doesn't matter when they're stunned. Kinetic field doesn't matter when they're chronoed. You know? We're overlapping a lot here. There's no need for that. Good glimpse on that guy, go. Whew, just missed. Alright, Sven buyback. But it's going to take him a while to get here. Kill Bloodseeker. He still doesn't have buyback. Alright, kill the Witch Doctor. Alright. So you weren't sure how you won. The enemy is throwing, but then they're also just like not only are they throwing, but they are doing so when they don't have buyback, and they're coming in staggered. And that's why you guys are able to win this. Like, they're diving you back. Like, they're diving you back here, and what does that mean? We've talked about this in another video. It forces all their supports to run in, and they can't do what they want. That's why they need to, like, keep it together, guys, and just hit this. They're diving way hard, and then you kill these two heroes by the time everyone else runs up. And then they buy back, and then he teleports here. And while they're trying to retreat, getting back to Sven, that takes, like, 15 seconds. And in that time, you win the 5v4. They're just taking really bad fights. They should have been able to win this, like, very easily. Oh, no, Zeus. You guys should just be grouped up, I think. Underlord, maybe, or whoever has Boots of Travel can push out a wave. Like, Underlord can just ult in. That's why I mentioned him. But if, like, Zeus has bots, maybe that's what he was trying to do, but then he got picked off by Queen. You still have to be a little careful. BK bead, no need to ult. Glimpse her, glimpse her. Oh, just kidding, not needed. Go, go, go. Go, go. Get in there, Void! Aw, should have had her. Alright. Better chrono these 2 supports. What a power move. Let me chrono 2 of them, kill 1 of them, walk straight up to the ogre, and then walk away. And then back to the ogre. Bash Lord, holy crap. Alright, get in there. Come on, Void. Get in there. What are you pinging? Do not ping to dive the fountain. Are you pinging they have a mango tree, maybe? Who cares? Yeah, it's definitely not a game you should have been able to win, I feel like. I mean, clearly you did, so it was clearly possible. But it came down to, like, misplays, I think. The enemy team should have just, like, megaed you and have been very straightforward from there. And it should have been even harder, you know, because you had such a poor start at the beginning of the game. They should have been able to do a lot more with that, but then Bloodseeker died and put you back in the game. Summary for people who don't want to watch 26-minute videos. First, the laning went poorly. I don't mind your item build, but then the fight at the start went badly because you didn't expect Quamp to be there. You know, that happens. But then you have to immediately buy more regen. The second you're out of regen and the lane hasn't even begun, you just need more regen. That's just how it goes. Very few heroes can prioritize mana over health. And the heroes that can do that are heroes that have healing spells so that they convert mana to health. It's always about health. Someone like Warlock comes to mind, who can just go like a ton of clarities, and it's fine because he just keeps healing. So that's why he can skip the health consumables. Mana consumables are converted to health very efficiently for that hero. Someone like Disruptor cannot do that. So you need, when you use up all your regen like that, you have to buy more. So that's the laning. Then after that, team movements, kind of like all the videos, you know, trying to get the right team members together. Like Pudge, he's a hero that wants kills. Underlord, like you guys are very strong together. Just move together. Then besides that, I just want you to... we already mentioned some of those cases, right? But just think down, do it yourself again. Like, when do I need to silence enemies? I need to silence them so that they don't get spells off. Does it work when they're BKB'd? No. Does it, like, do I need to silence them if they are stunned? No. Avoiding those kind of overlaps is pretty important the further up you go. And, you know, like, you won this game, for example, and you had a lot of those overlapping mistakes. So maybe this game would be a lot easier if you didn't have some of those overlaps. Or maybe, you know, you move up a little further in rank, but now you're going to start losing those games if you keep making those mistakes. So it's really important to cut those out. It also helps with mana management. You know, if you use Glimpse and you use Kinetic Field, but you kind of like mess it up, so in the end it doesn't really do anything, those two abilities are on cooldown, and it uses a lot of mana. So really spend some time thinking about the order of your spells. It's like, take as long as you need, right? But like, if you spend like 10, even if you spend an hour on it, like I did in the video with Alex, if you spend an hour on it, that's fine. That's going to benefit you for every single Disruptor game you play. For 1 hour, that's like one Disruptor game. How much could you learn in one Disruptor game? Really not that much. But if you set yourself forward on all these spells for an hour, that's so valuable for every other Disruptor game you play. And it's not just Disruptor. It'll carry over. If you realize I shouldn't silence when they're stunned, next time you play like Silencer, you're going to be like, wait a second, we're chronoed. I don't need to silence right now. I'll wait for chrono to end and then silence. You know, this stuff carries over. Also try change. This is crazy amount of sentries for a Zeus on your team and like no invis. So try to buy less sentries and don't use it to block their camps so much. You can still block like the ancient camp. I think that's cool. Block a couple of the hard camps. That's fine. Don't block like all the medium ones unless you're against like a someone you're convinced is a Smurf, and then either like Meepos, Alchemists, who else? Broodmothers, those kind of heroes. Then you sort of can block a lot of their camps in the early game. Do it early. By the time you did it, it's like not gonna have so much effect. They should be strong enough to just like go to your half of the map and farm it. Yeah, I think that's it. So I hope that helped. Another long one. Eventually we'll do. We're not. It's just not happening. We're not doing short videos. I'll say I'll try. We'll see. We'll try to figure it out. Thanks. Have a good one, guys.